shaking, brothers and sisters. I'm glad your father's way up here in the dial. And even though we only reaching about a mile across downtown Memphis, we got the jumping and jamming this music in town. Hey! And it's Saturday night, meaning the party's at my favorite Beale Street juke joint, Dale Ray's.
Time to lose the day. Time to hit the field.
My next guest waiting on the line has heard that so many times in the last week. Yeah, I don't think he'd be sick of it. I'm sure he'd absolutely love it. Actor, dancer, TV presenter and muso James Elmer is playing the lead role of Huey in Memphis the Musical, playing currently at Chapel Off Chapel. I was there in the audience on Saturday night. I was blown away. This is one heck of a show. It's a 5-star and it's not to be missed. James is on the line right now. James, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I didn't get to see you afterwards, but thank you for coming to watch.
Yeah, no, we were there and we hung around for a little bit, had a chat to one or two, but didn't see you around, so we had to dart off. I think it'd been pouring with rain from memory. And anyway, we headed off into the wilderness and headed back towards Berwick. But what a marvellous show, James, absolutely.
It is. It's such an important show as well, I think. You know, it's not only, entertaining, but it's also educational. So I think that's the best thing when you tell a story like this every single night. It's awesome for us because, like I said, you learn something, but it's also so entertaining. So it's a lot of fun, but people are learning.
Well, of course, it's got that racial tinge to it all the way through, and the blacks and the whites, and it was a white radio station. It started playing black music, and that's where it all started, of course.
Yeah, that's it, and I think it's so poignant and topical at the moment.
It
with
is.
Everything going on in the world, marriage equality, the Charlottesville riots, and there still is some segregation in places, which is ridiculous. So that's why I think this message is so important to tell right now.
Yes, it is.
In this day and age. But yeah, you're right. It follows a guy called Huey Calhoun, who is loosely based on a character, a real-life person called Dewey Phillips. And he was a radio DJ in the 50s who played black music on his white commercial radio station. He was the very first person to play Elvis on the radio. And that's what this story follows, is a youngish white man who is a bit colourblind. He doesn't care about race or sexual orientation. He just cares about good music, and he just wants to play good music on his radio station, whether it's black or white.
Yes, and of course we follow all the trials and tribulations he goes through in doing that, and how he's shunned and all sorts of things. But it really is an eye-opener, isn't it? And as you say, even for younger people too, to come along and see what really has gone on in the past and what is going on right now.
Well, that's it. A friend called me the other day, and she said, should I bring my kids? And I thought for a second. I said, yeah, I think you should, because it's just such an important message. It's like a dark Disney film, and I think the kids will relate, and I think the kids will say, Mum, why can't that white person marry that black person?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
And I don't think they'd even say white or black. They'd say, Mum, why can't that girl marry that boy? And I think that's so important. So the kids now know how easy it is in our life, but in some places in the world it still is frowned upon.
James, you make a really good point there.
I think so. I think it's very, very important that everyone sees this show, whether you're 100 or whether you're 10 years old. I think it's got a message for everyone.
Yeah. You made your debut in the Heights, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. That was such a great show too. Again, it was about segregation as well, and it was also about gentrification as well, and different cultures coming together. So I seem to always be in the cultural numbers, because I think they're so important to this world, and being diverse. And I think that's what Stage Art's done really well with this cast, is always, and every cast they have is bringing diversity together. And that was such an amazing show for me to be a part of as well.
Stage Art do some great things. They really, really do. I haven't seen one bad one yet, and we've got to credit them and say, well done. Just great stuff.
Yeah, I don't think we will see a bad show from them. I think they're ready to take risks, and I've said this before on paper and on the record, is that I'm not a massive musical theatre fan, but Stage Art have made me a musical theatre fan, because they're bringing these crazy productions that you wouldn't see mainstream, and they're bringing them to life, and they're bringing them to the little corners of Melbourne, and I think they're going to be a very, very, very big company one day, and I love what they're doing, and they're letting the little guys have a chance, you know.
I think it's very different to that SciFi show you did, Trip for Biscuits.
Yeah, it is a little bit different, you know.
Yeah.
I think I play a lot of eccentric characters in my time, and the character that I played in Trip for Biscuits was especially crazy.
Yeah.
But not too far off Huey Calhoun, the character I play in the show, you know.
Yeah.
Very, very eccentric characters, and I think I like playing them because it's probably a bit typecast for me.
James, you're still doing the ABC 3?
No, I finished that maybe a year ago.
Right.
You'll still see my face floating around the channel, and I still do some stuff with them. And you'll see repeats of me doing shows like Splatterlot and Trip Biscuits.
Yes.
No, I finished that about a year ago, but I spent 6-7 years there, and it was such a wonderful time for me. Again, like I said, with this show, I got to entertain but also educate, so that's why it was so important for me. And hopefully, you know, the kids that I was entertaining when they were 10 and now, you know, 15, 16, and they're coming to see these theatre shows and these more serious roles that I'm in now.
James, this is a very energetic show for you. You're on stage almost all of the time. You're a great singer, got a great voice, a wonderful delivery, and it just fills that auditorium beautifully. How do you prepare for something like this?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm glad you noticed how long I'm on stage for.
Yeah.
I think as growing up as a dancer, you're used to, you know, coming on stage for a solo and then sitting out for a number and then going back in. And so this was, even in the Heights, I had a lot of numbers off where I could watch backstage and come back on. This show for me is like a marathon. It's so big, and I don't really go off stage. The only time I go off stage is to maybe change a jacket. It's very full on. How do I prepare? I mean, I've just got to be vocally safe. I've got to make sure that I warm up. We've had some great vocal coaches. Our director, Dean Dryberg, our choreographer, Kira, our musical director, Nathan, they've all been really good in making sure that we're safe.
Oh, I think Will Conyers is working with you too, isn't he?
Yeah, Will is amazing. He had one session with us and it felt like I'd spent a year with him. He's just such a professional.
Yes.
And Alondra and I, my other lead, we have sworn by his techniques and warming up and stuff like that. So you've just got to be safe with your voice and make sure you steam and prepare. And as far as preparing for the role is a whole different story. That's a lot harder and a lot more emotional, but we've done it and we're there.
You'd have to get into some sort of a character, wouldn't you? You build yourself up backstage and get that character going?
Yeah, well, I think now it's set. You know, I don't think we have to do it every show now.
Right.
I think that was what the rehearsal period was for. Again, our director did some crazy stuff with us. I was saying the other day, we've done a lot of things where, of course, when we get into a rehearsal room, we love everyone. You know, the black people and the white people all love each other and we'll have a coffee afterwards. But when we got into that rehearsal room, we did some very strange exercises where he would, make me ostracized from the cast, or he'd keep me out of the room, and when I came in, all the black people would look at me differently, or vice versa.
Right.
And it was very, very important for us to see those changes, and there were so many emotional rehearsals where we just had to hug each other at the end because we really felt what was going on in the 50s. And we're acting. We get to snap out of it, whereas back in the 50s, you don't get to snap out of it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it is emotional, as you say, but it's a real eye-opener, and I think everyone should come along and see it. It's on to, I think, October the 29th from memory, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
Yep.
Yeah, we've still got a fair way to go, which is important for us too, because we can't wait to tell this story every night.
Yeah, my word. Well, it's very, very good. I gave it 5 stars. Memphis the Musical, not to be missed. It's a Chapel off Chapel, and look online and go and book a ticket. James, nice to catch up with you, pal. Thank you very, very much for your valuable time today. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of you in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much, mate. I've got to get ready for a show, but thank you for having me on your show.
Take care, pal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.